And as we continue our coverage here on News 19, our weather impact alert day, plural, but for now, you can see this swath of, this is actually pretty insane. Now, first let's start right off the coast. From Charleston's coastlines, so those are pretty much from Isle of Palms all the way down to almost Phipps Island. There's reports of anywhere from sleet, snow, rain, or freezing rain. It's just a cornucopia of everything, as you can see from the colors. When you get a little bit further north of that, or up the coast, especially when you get from like Garden City all the way up to North Myrtle Beach, it is coming down for now as snow, but it's wet snow. You go further inland, and pretty much everybody in South Carolina along west of I-95 all the way up to almost the entire upstate, it is coming down and nothing but snow. And so we're still going to continue this until at least 2 o'clock here in the Midlands, but for South Carolina, possibly 4 a.m. And even though the numbers as far as snowfall totals have dramatically gone down, still we can see in areas that could exceed 1 to approaching 3 inches of snow. We've already gotten reports, so it's not so much that the roads could be even more hazardous as we go into the overnight hours, but we've already got many reports in the central and eastern southern Midlands where the roads are already slick. And there's no need, if you have to go outside, to just venture out. Just look out the window at the snow. But the biggest impact that we're looking at right now that we're sure of is that the temperatures are going to stay sub-freezing. There's no doubt about that. We won't even be remotely close to the 30s in the morning. And there is going to be snowfall accumulations. We've already gotten that. And there is expected to be even more. What we're not sure about, how much more will accumulate, and whatever does come down on the ground, how long will actually stay, whether it's on the grass, the driveway, or on the roadway. That's still a very big uncertainty because of the temperatures. But no doubt that with the cold weather advisory still around, temperatures are not only going to be below freezing, they're going to be sub-freezing, more like in the 20s and teens. If you look at what the temperatures are expected, and the update as we get towards later on tonight, these temperatures will actually go even further down. But none of these temperatures are at 30 degrees. They're well below freezing. So very likely we're looking at the setup in which whatever doesn't melt from sunshine over the course of the next 2 days, by sunset, it'll be cold enough, it'll either refreeze or it'll stay frozen. Now, that's why we still have the winter weather advisory. Now, keep in mind that this is what the notification from the National Weather Service has warned. What we actually have now, what we're expecting, that may be a little bit of a deviation, but the bottom line is that the winter weather advisories for these counties from Edgefield to Saluda, Newberry, Fairfield, and Kershaw County, whatever you have on the ground now, on top of that, may accumulate to no more than an inch. But everybody else from Lee County all the way down to Aiken, from Richland all the way down to Orangeburg, everybody else, there's a possibility that you could be accumulating, by the time the snow is done, up to 2 inches of snowfall on top of what you already got. Here's the setup. Everybody right now in the tri-state, from southern Georgia, right up 65 into Peachtree City in Atlanta, and then from I-20 in Georgia all the way down to the Florida-Georgia line, and a very good portion of South Carolina and North Carolina are under a winter storm warning. For the Carolinas, along I-20 and points west is a winter weather advisory, and then pretty much from the Triad approaching almost I-95 in North Carolina and points towards Mecklenburg County and Charlotte and going up to 85, they are under a winter weather advisory, but everybody east of 95, all the way down to the Outer Banks, they're under a winter storm warning. You could see all the precipitation that's still falling down. And a little heads up, do you see the brighter blues? That color is basically to the southeast of Macon, Georgia, but then it extends all the way into Savannah, Georgia. And the darker blues as you get towards the Florida-Georgia line. All that precipitation still has to make its way up. The target area of where all of that is going to be focused on as far as the heavier snow bands is going to be closer to I-95 and then all the way to the coast. That's going to be the target area that we're going to be focusing on over the next several hours of the anticipation of heavier accumulation. But again, you can see right now that a lot of the precipitation along the coastal low country is somewhat in the form of either snow, sleet, rain, or freezing rain. And that combination will start to switch over to all snow, but it is a really big mess right now from the Battery going up 26 to almost getting to Moncks Corner and Somerville. Meanwhile, here in the Midlands, the snow has been on and off in many areas, but it's starting to pick up again, and there's those big bands coming out of the areas of I-16 to the east of Macon all the way to Savannah. Again, the target point is going to be the southern and southeastern middling communities. This is what is anticipated. This is going to be as we approach 11 o'clock to midnight. The snow should taper off, maybe a little bit of flurries, but the heaviest concentration of snowfall north of I-20 all the way to the upstate and the PD, it's done. But we're still talking about bands of snow to even moderate snowfall when you get to areas of Lee, Sumter, Clarendon, Calhoun, and Orangeburg County. As we get towards 2 o'clock in the morning, that just started fading off, and then by 3 o'clock, all the snow is out of the Midlands. By 5 o'clock, that's it. The snow is done. Now, again, these are the estimates. In the Midlands, in the heart of the Midlands, we're now approaching about a quarter of an inch of snow. You get into areas of Bamberg and Bardwell County approaching maybe half an inch. But notice, as soon as you get to the central Savannah River area, from Augusta National heading south towards Grovetown and Waynesboro, they are now at estimated 3/4, now approaching an inch. Go about 50 miles to the west along I-20 and north of I-26. Now they're approaching 2 to 2.5 inches of snowfall. And where that heavy concentration of snow is in south central Georgia, at this time right now, now they're approaching 4 to 5 inches of snow. It doesn't sound like a lot, but all of that band is going to make its way from Macon and just west of Vidalia towards everyone to the south of I-20 and then right along 26 and to the west of 95. So again, the target point for more snowfall, for the heaviest concentration of snowfall, is going to be the southern, southeastern, and eastern Midlands as we go throughout the night. Commuter model is indicating still, on top of what South Carolina has gotten, there could be an additional 4 to 5 inches of snow, both coastal and coastal inland, from the low country all the way up to the Grand Strand. In areas just east of I-95, accumulation can get upwards of nearly 3 more inches of snow. And then when you go west of 95, before you get to I-20, 1 to 2 inches more snowfall. And then to the north of I-20, again, we are expecting that snowfall should start shutting off by about 10 to 11 o'clock at the latest. But the overall scope is that for us, again, we're going to continue the Midland snow, and then the northern portions of I-20, by 11, 12 o'clock, that's it. By 2 to 3 o'clock, it's now on I-95, and by 3 to 4 o'clock, that's it. The snow is done. How much snow more are we expecting in the Midlands? Again, this is on top of what has already fallen down. You can see that an area is just is going to be just to the west of Batesburg, Leesville, and Saluda County. It's now approaching 3/4 of an inch. Then you get to the areas just north of Graniteville in Aiken County. It's now over 3/4 of an inch. But still, by and large, in the central and south central Midland, give or take about 1/4 to approaching 1/2 an inch of snow. Hasn't been a lot of snow, but you can see when you get to areas of Edgefield, it's approaching now nearly 2.5 to 3 inches of snowfall. And of course, over at Augusta, and then when you get to the other side of the Savannah River in Georgia, those estimated snowfall totals as of right now have definitely gone up to approaching 4 inches. How much more are we getting? On top of what we've already gotten, everyone north of I-20, except for Kershaw and Lee County, everybody north of I-20, maybe you may get 1/4 of an inch at best more snowfall than you have right now. Columbia metropolitan area all the way to downtown Lexington and points just to the south and west. Maybe 1/4, maybe 1/2 an inch more at most. And that'll be I-20 all the way down past number 34 before you cross over the Aiken-Lexington County line. When you get into Kershaw County, though, it's really going to be hit or miss. If you are west of the JD Highway, you're probably going to get maybe 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch of snow more. But if your areas from, say, Bethune to Cassett, all the way down to the east side of the JD Highway, you may get upwards of half to maybe 3/4 of an inch more of snow. Then you get into Lee and Sumter County. Focus on those two. Additionally, possibly 1 to almost 1.5 more inches of snow. Lower Richland to at least Calhoun County to the west of Burke Road, maybe an inch more. But from Burke Road all the way down to southeast Calhoun County, you could get anywhere from an inch to possibly an inch and a half more. Far western Orangeburg, so everybody west of the city of Orangeburg, you could possibly get up to another inch to an inch and a half. But from east of Orangeburg, heading south, all the way down to Bowman and all points east for Orangeburg County, there's a possibility that you can get upwards of at least 2 more inches of snow. And then for Clarendon County, with the exception of everybody that borders right over Sumter County. So pretty much from the Paxville Highway all the way down until you get to Lake Marion, well, you could see on the west side of I-95 maybe about another inch to 2 inches of snow. But east of I-95 from Turbyville all the way down to Forston, you could see possibly 2+ inches of snow, especially with those heavy bands that are going to be coming out of Georgia. So we're not completely done, but here's the thing. We know that the snow is going to end by about 2 o'clock in the morning, but the afternoon temperatures are going to struggle to get just above freezing. So most of our Midland communities will be above freezing for no more than 4 hours. Even with that sunshine, not a lot is going to melt. And we're going to have to wait for a while until at least Thursday into Friday, where the temperatures are going to be in the 40s for anything during the day to melt out. So this stuff is going to stick on the ground for at least another 2 days at most. But it's going to be a wash to get all of this out of here, because there's still quite a bit of snowfall that has to make its way through just in the Palmetto State alone, and there's a lot that still has to come out of southern Georgia and Alabama heading our way. We're going to continue this update, and we're going to make sure that you have the information that you need on News 19 online, on WLTX.com, and on our streaming services on WLTX Plus and on the News 19 weather app. I'm Chief Meteorologist Efren Infante. Stay with us. We'll keep you ahead of the snowstorm.